Listen carefully, my friends. Right now, in this exact moment, you are losing something very important. Someone is taking it from you. It is not your money or your time. It is something much more valuable. Your mind is being stolen piece by piece, and the scariest part is that you are giving it away willingly. You woke up this morning with the same potential as Marcus Aurelius. You had the same 24 hours and the same ability to practice deep discipline. But before the sun was even up, your attention was already broken. You were distracted in many different directions by useless noise and people who do not matter. This is not a motivational video. This is a serious warning. The ancient Stoics, men who ruled empires, survived exile, and faced death without fear, left behind a clear, hard-tested system. This system was not made to protect wealth or status, but to protect the most powerful force a human has: focus. Focus is the controlled, purposeful, and unbreakable direction of your mind toward what truly matters. And almost nobody is using it today. Epictetus was born a slave. He was beaten, and his master even broke his leg, but he sat there calm and still and said, "You can break my body, but you will never break my mind." He was protecting his inner fortress, his focus. If a man in chains could guard his mind so perfectly, what is your excuse? What kind of chaos are you giving up to, that a slave refused to give into? In this video, I am going to give you 10 Stoic habits. These are not just theories or simple quotes. These are real ancient practices that will destroy your distractions and rebuild your concentration. It will make your mind so strong that it might even make people around you uncomfortable, because focused people always make unfocused people feel uneasy. Stay with me, because every single habit matters. If you miss one, you miss the whole structure. Watch this until the end, because your view on focus will change forever. Before we begin, if you are serious about changing yourself from the inside out, subscribe right now. This channel is for people who refuse to be ordinary. Let us begin. Habit 1. The morning command. Marcus Aurelius ruled the greatest empire in history. He commanded armies and decided the lives of millions. Yet, every single morning, before he read any official papers or spoke to any politician, he sat alone and wrote. He wrote to himself in a journal that we now call Meditations. It was never meant to be published. He wrote, "When you have trouble getting out of bed at dawn, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. Why should I complain if I am going to do what I was born to do?" Think about that. The most powerful man alive started his day by reminding himself of his purpose. He commanded his mind before the world could scatter it. Most people wake up and immediately reach for their phone. Within 30 seconds, their minds are filled with other people's problems, opinions, and noise. They give away the most peaceful part of the day, the moment between sleeping and waking, to the chaos of the world. The Stoics called this morning window prosophe, which means watchful attention to oneself. It is a purposeful pause before the world attacks. Here is what you should do instead. Before you touch your phone, speak a word, or check a notification, sit quietly for 5 to 10 minutes. Ask yourself one question. What is the single most important thing I must focus my mind on today? Not the most urgent thing, but the most important. There is a huge difference. Urgent things scream for attention, but important things whisper. The Stoic morning practice helps you hear the whisper before the screaming starts. Seneca once wrote, "Everything else belongs to others. Time alone is ours." Your focus is your time made visible. When you scatter your focus, you are wasting the only currency you can never earn back. The morning command is an act of war. You are standing at the gate of your mind, deciding what gets in and what stays out. If you do not control your morning, the morning will control you. Habit 2. The single arrow. Seneca, living in ancient Rome surrounded by luxury and distractions, said something that fits perfectly today. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. He saw people trying to do everything at once, going to every party, chasing every pleasure, and pursuing every ambition. The result? They were extremely busy but achieved nothing deep. They mastered nothing. At the end of their lives, they had nothing great to show for it. Today, people call this multitasking. The Stoics would call it breaking your mind apart. Modern science proves what Seneca knew just by watching people. Your brain cannot do two things at once. It just switches between tasks very fast. Every time you switch, you pay a mental tax. You lose clarity and energy. A study found that heavy multitaskers are actually worse at ignoring useless information because they have trained their minds to be permanently distracted. Habit 2 is the single arrow. The Stoics practiced archery as a mental discipline. An arrow cannot go in two directions. If you aim at two targets at once, you will miss both. Cato the Elder, a famous Roman senator, was known for his extreme focus. When he worked on a case, he thought of nothing else. When he spoke to you, you were the only person in the world to him. He was terrifyingly present. This made him powerful, not raw genius, but his refusal to divide his attention. Practice this today. Choose one task, one conversation, or one piece of work, and give it everything. No second screen, no background noise, no quick checks. Just you and the task. You will be shocked by how much better your work becomes and how good it feels to be fully present. The single arrow does not have to move fast, it just moves straight. Habit 3. The subtraction discipline. When the famous artist Michelangelo was asked how he carved the perfect statue of David, he simply said, "I just removed everything that was not David." The Stoics understood this perfectly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you want peace, do less. Or more accurately, do only what is essential. Do fewer things, but do them better." Those 3 words, do less, better, can change your life. But most people are afraid to subtract. Adding things feels like progress, while removing things feels like losing. So, people keep adding more apps, more tasks, more relationships, and more noise, until their lives are so full of useless things that there is no room left for what matters. Habit 3 is the subtraction discipline. The Stoic teacher Musonius Rufus taught that a disciplined life is defined by what you refuse, not what you take on. He said that eating more food than you need does not feed you, it burdens you. The same happens when you take on too many tasks. You are weighed down by what you accumulate. This week, review your life strictly. Look at your daily habits, your phone usage, your friendships, and your commitments. Ask one tough question. Does this help me become the person I want to be? Not, is this comfortable, or do people like me for this? But does it help my growth? If the answer is no, cut it out immediately. When you remove things that dilute your attention, your remaining focus becomes much sharper. Habit 4. The Fortress Hour. In the year 177 AD, Marcus Aurelius was fighting a war and dealing with a terrible plague that killed thousands of people every day. He was an emperor, a general, a judge, and a philosopher all at once. The pressure was unbelievable. Yet, he managed to write Meditations, 12 books of deep, brilliant philosophy. He did not write this in a quiet library, but in a military tent surrounded by death. How? Because he protected his time for deep thought. He did it first, not last. Habit 4 is the Fortress Hour. The Stoics use the word odium, which means protected, undistracted time for important work. Seneca warned that a man who has no blocked-off time for himself belongs completely to others. He said, "Withdraw into yourself as much as you can. Every day you must have at least 1 hour where you are completely unavailable. Phone off, door closed, no emails, no texts, no interruptions. Just you and your most important work." People often say this is impossible, but if you cannot find 1 single hour for yourself, it means you have given all your time to everyone else except yourself. The Fortress Hour is not selfish. It is necessary for creating anything of value. Deep thoughts and great work do not come from a distracted mind. They come from a mind that has room to breathe. Build your fortress and enter it every day. Habit 5. The obstacle as a whetstone. Most people lose focus when things go wrong. When a project fails, a relationship breaks, or plans change. The mind starts to panic, replay mistakes, and worry about the future. The Stoics did the exact opposite. They trained themselves to use difficulties as fuel. Marcus Aurelius wrote a famous line, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This does not mean just stay positive. It means something much more practical. The harder the problem in front of you, the more fiercely you must focus on it. Habit 5 is seeing the obstacle as a whetstone. A stone used to sharpen knives. A whetstone sharpens a blade through friction and resistance. The harder the stone, the sharper the knife. The Stoics knew that frustration, failure, and opposition were not interruptions to life. They were the exact materials needed to build mental strength. Epictetus said, "It is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." When a hard situation arrives, most people think, "This problem is ruining my focus." A Stoic changes that thought to, "This problem requires my complete focus." There is a story about Zeno, the founder of Stoicism. He lost all his wealth in a shipwreck. Instead of giving up, he walked to Athens and started studying philosophy. Later he said, "Bad luck gave me a good journey because it forced me toward philosophy." The biggest disaster of his life became his greatest success. Treat your problems not as interruptions, but as the actual work that will sharpen you. Habit 6. The discipline of negative visualization. The Stoics practice something called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Today, psychologists call this cognitive rehearsal. It works like this. Every morning or before a big task, deliberately imagine the worst-case scenario. Do not do this to panic, but to take away the future's power to surprise you. Seneca wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we have reached the end of life." When you have already faced your fears in your mind, the actual task loses its power to scare you. The anxiety that steals your focus melts away, leaving pure clarity. Habit 6 is negative visualization. People avoid thinking about bad outcomes because it feels unpleasant, but avoiding fear does not make it go away. It just keeps the fear hidden in your mind, quietly draining your energy. A hidden fear is much more expensive than a clearly examined one. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of mortality. He reminded himself that his empire could fall and that he would die. He did not do this to feel sad, but to focus. A person who truly realizes that time is limited will not waste attention on stupid things. Try this today. Before doing important work, sit for 3 minutes and ask, what is the worst thing that could happen if I fail? Look at it directly. You will find that the fear becomes much smaller when you look it in the eye. Once the fear is gone, your focus becomes fearless. Habit 7. Guard your company with your life. Epictetus warned, keep a close watch on this. Do not spend time with people who hold your old, bad habits. If you do, you will either become like them, or they will become like you. There is no middle ground. The people around you either lift you up or drag you down. Habit 7 is guarding your company with your life. The Romans used the word contagio, contagion, for both physical illness and character traits. Seneca said to choose friends who make you better, and whom you can make better. Think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Do they talk about building things or about complaining? Do they expand your goals, or do they tell you why things will fail? Do they protect their focus, or do they ruin yours? Distracted people are not evil, but their distraction is contagious. Their panic becomes your panic. Their bad habits slowly weaken your discipline. You have probably felt your energy drain around chaotic people, and felt your mind sharpen around highly focused people. Your attention reacts to your environment, so you must protect that environment. This does not mean being cruel to people. It means being honest. Have the courage to limit your time with people who leave you feeling distracted, and seek out those who push you to grow. Your focus is only as strong as the people you keep around you. Habit 8. The evening audit. Every single night, Seneca did a review of his day. He wrote, "When the day is done and I am in bed, I review my whole day, my actions and words. I hide nothing from myself." He asked himself 3 simple questions. Did I do anything wrong today? Did I waste any time today? What did I learn today that made me better? This is not just regular journaling. It is a strict self-examination. Habit 8 is the evening audit. Most people end their day unconsciously. They fall into bed after being pulled around for 16 hours by random distractions, without checking how their time was spent or preparing for tomorrow. Then they wonder why their lives do not improve. The evening audit breaks this bad cycle. It brings awareness to your actions. Ask yourself tonight, where did my focus actually go today? Did I control it, or did the world pull me around? Who or what stole my attention? Name the distraction clearly. Finally ask, what single change can I make tomorrow to get my focus back? Just one small, precise change. Marcus Aurelius was often impatient with his own mistakes in his journal. This was not self-hate, it was the productive dissatisfaction of a man who refused to be less than his best. The evening audit keeps your progress visible, and when you can see the gaps, you can fix them. Habit 9. The body as an instrument, not an enemy. Marcus Aurelius once wrote to himself, "Treat the body strictly so that it obeys the mind." He understood that the body is not separate from your thoughts. It is the tool through which you think. A broken tool cannot make beautiful things. Habit 9 is treating your body as an instrument, not an enemy. The Stoics did not believe in torturing the body, but they believed the body must be fit enough to serve the mind's purpose. Seneca said, "I do not exercise my body for its own sake, but so it does not become a burden to my thinking." The tiredness and brain fog you feel every afternoon is often a physical problem, not a motivational one. It comes from bad sleep, junk food, or sitting still for too long. The part of your brain responsible for focus and decisions, the prefrontal cortex, is heavily damaged by poor sleep and lack of movement. When you do not sleep, your brain literally gets less blood flow, and your focus is ruined before the day even starts. Cato the Elder walked everywhere, worked in the fields, and ate simple food. He did this because he knew a healthy body gave him a sharp mind. The basic Stoic rules are simple. Sleep 7 to 8 hours, move your body every day, and eat food that gives you clarity rather than making you lazy. You cannot build a great life with a broken tool. Take care of your body. Habit 10. Live as though the moment is all you have. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say and think." He did not mean this in a sad way. He was being realistic. When you truly realize that this exact moment is limited and will never happen again, distractions lose their power. The notifications on your phone stop feeling urgent, useless arguments become silly, and procrastination disappears. Distraction suddenly looks like what it really is, wasting a priceless gift. Habit 10 is living like this moment is all you have, because it is. Seneca wrote to his friend, "Claim yourself for yourself. Do it for yourself, not for your boss, your social media followers, or the expectations of others." A person who does not control their own attention cannot give anything real to the world. Time is the only resource that cannot be saved, bought back, or borrowed. If you lose money, you can make it back. If a relationship breaks, it can be fixed. But lost time is gone forever. Marcus Aurelius wrote toward the end of his life, "Confine yourself to the present. Do not worry about the past you cannot change, or the future you cannot control. Focus only lives in the present." This 10th habit makes all the others work. Without the deep understanding that you are not guaranteed another minute, the other habits are just nice ideas. With it, they become urgent and non-negotiable. These are 10 habits refined over centuries by men who faced wars, slavery, plagues, and death. They built minds of incredible power. The morning command, the single arrow, the subtraction discipline, the fortress hour, the obstacle as a whetstone, negative visualization, guard your company, the evening audit, the body as an instrument, living in the present. None of these are easy, but all of them are possible. Practicing even one will change your mind. The Stoics did not just practice these as separate tasks, they built a complete structure for their minds. This system has been available for 2,000 years. The only thing standing between you and a powerful mind is the willingness to start today, not tomorrow. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." Say it now. I will be the person who protects their focus fiercely. I will claim my attention for myself, and I will begin today. The gate of your mind is open. It is time to close it and guard it, because everything that matters most is on the inside.